Greetings. Welcome to our REDSHORT webinar for this Wednesday, June 17th, 2026. My name is J.D. Thomason, and today I will be discussing some recently discovered vulnerabilities affecting Ubiquiti hardware and UniFi OS. As always, you can find information on similar topics at redskyalliance.org. So here is the agenda for today. First, we would dive into a little bit on Ubiquiti and the products and services they provide. From there, we will give some details on the recently disclosed vulnerabilities affecting Ubiquiti products and how they can be chained together to create larger problems. And lastly, we'll go over some key takeaways from these recent events since they highlight potential issues beyond a single vendor or product. So let's get started. Ubiquiti is a networking and infrastructure company whose products have become popular with small to medium-sized businesses like schools, retail organizations, or even tech enthusiasts. Ubiquiti's products are built around the idea of centralized management for things like networking and wireless infrastructure, surveillance, and physical security. The UniFi product line is representative of this goal and contains items like wireless access points, switches, security gateways, routers, surveillance cameras, access control systems, etc. Overall, Ubiquiti's aim is to provide a streamlined management experience for these products. The UniFi OS is the operating system behind these products and serves as the central admin interface. Administrators can configure networks, provision devices, manage users, review security events and monitor surveillance, control physical access systems, etc. The consolidation of tasks is quite popular from a usability perspective, considering many of these functions will often require multiple tools. This can be an attractive prospect for organizations with limited IT resources, given the reduction in complexity and operational overhead. With that said, the consolidated nature of this kind of environment is also what makes it a high-value target. Attackers are likely to be attracted to the potential high visibility into an organization's infrastructure, especially since the system will typically maintain elevated privileges across multiple systems. In the latter half of May, Ubiquiti released a security advisory detailing several vulnerabilities affecting many of their products, in particular UniFi OS version 5.0.6 and earlier. Vulnerabilities describe input validation issues that would allow for malicious command injection, path traversal issues that would allow for exposing files on the underlying system, and improper access control issues that would allow for unauthorized system changes. Subsequent to the disclosure of these vulnerabilities, researchers at Bishop Fox discovered that exploiting these vulnerabilities together, specifically those we have highlighted in blue here, could result in a full system compromise. They state that they were able to achieve full shell access with root privileges with a single request on a server running UniFi 5.0.6. In order to perform the chained attack that Bishop Fox describes, an attacker would not need any prior access to the system, nor any credentials or user access. The root cause of being able to perpetrate this kind of attack has to do with how UniFi validates and routes incoming requests. The authentication component of the server will evaluate a raw request URI, while Nginx in the background will evaluate a normalized version of the URI. This means that requests could be formulated to appear to resolve to unsecure endpoints, but still resolve to secure endpoints after normalization, thus bypassing authentication. Once this is done, an attacker could take advantage of the input validation vulnerability to execute commands and gain root access. Bishop Fox has released a detection script to identify vulnerable instances. This script will not identify attacks in progress. Users of UniFi OS systems should upgrade to version 5.0.8 as soon as possible to mitigate potential problems with these vulnerabilities. Patching should also be followed by a full secret rotation. Probably the most prominent lesson to take away from this situation is that centralized management platforms are becoming increasingly valuable targets to attackers. This makes sense given the potential access to multiple elements from a single access point. This point is especially relevant in the case of Ubiquiti, since network controllers often occupy trusted positions in an organization's ecosystem. Another interesting aspect of this situation is that the risk of combining the disclosed vulnerabilities is potentially more dangerous than any of the individual vulnerabilities in isolation. This highlights the importance of examining vulnerabilities in context and not simply relying on a threat score of a bug in a vacuum. It's also worth considering that consolidating management functions, as Ubiquiti products allow, also means that the maintenance of said systems is likely to require increased priority. This is especially true when thinking about vulnerability management, since the compromise of a management system could quickly end up as a compromise of an entire environment. So, it's important to ensure that security teams are able to identify affected systems, assess exposure, validate updates, and deploy fixes as soon as possible. And now, to wrap things up. First, we talked a little bit about Ubiquiti, which is a networking and infrastructure company whose products are popular with small to medium-sized businesses. Their UniFi product line consists of products aiming to consolidate many of the management functions in an organization's infrastructure. From there, we went over some details of the recently disclosed vulnerabilities affecting Ubiquiti products. In late May, 5 separate vulnerabilities were disclosed for a variety of Ubiquiti products, particularly UniFi OS version 5.0.6. These issues ranged from input validation vulnerabilities, path traversal issues, and improper access controls. If the individual issues weren't bad enough, researchers at Bishop Fox discovered that these vulnerabilities could be chained together to allow for a full system compromise. And finally, we went over some key points one might be able to take from this situation. For one, it is quite clear now that centralized management systems are high-value targets to attackers, since compromising these systems will typically mean access to a wide ecosystem from a single point of entry. This situation also highlights potentially analyzing vulnerabilities in context or in relation to one another, rather than simply considering them in isolation. Then, this also makes for a good reminder that while consolidating functions reduces complexity and overhead, the maintenance of related systems is vitally important. And that's it for today. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the material and found it useful. If you have any further questions on the subject, you can contact us through Jim McKee at jmckee@redskyalliance.com. Have a nice day, and we'll hope to see you again next week.